This conference will now be recorded.
Will not make it a long distance, I know that.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Regular meeting minutes from April 16th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 16th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Abstain, opposed? Motion's passed. Monthly financial report and accounts payable.
Yes, you see there's two, there's one for March 31st. The second one's probably what you'll look at for April 30th. March 31st has the, I can see the money given to yourselves for your service. And then April 30th will be kind of more up to date.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report and accounts payable for March and April. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. No public hearings, old business, A, hotel study.
As you know, we okayed a hotel study to be done with HES. Resources, and I had a meeting with them on the 7th of May, two representatives, and they kind of asked various questions about big employers in town and what people do when they come to town, where they go and so on. So I filled them in, and they're currently working on the hotel study, and it should be done in June. So it'll be done quick, and then we can use that. We'll use it for sure with the rebound group, which we met with last month. See about getting a hotel into Zumbrota. So it's just kind of keep you up to date on what's going on.
Hey, part B, the billboard.
Does anybody have a billboard they'd like to see? That was your homework assignment.
Yeah, not the one on 63.
What's our funds you said?
Okay, so I got them here on the sheet, you can see. So our account, 403 account promotional budget's roughly $9,000. We just spent $5,000 on the visitors guides. So for the rest of the year, we have about $4,000 left. When I was looking at these, the two that kind of caught my eye because of where they're located are going to be one in Rochester, which is on the north side, facing south. Faces north. And then there's one in Pine Island.
Yeah, I like the Pine Island one.
And I thought we could make something like, why would you go to an island when you can come to a place with a bridge? But that didn't go over well with the staff. Because it's talking smack to Pine Island, and I like Pine Island.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah,
Talk all the smack you want.
Funny, yeah.
Okay, so my question is, one, we don't really know what our return on investment is. We had one up in Cannon Falls, so I feel like we've covered this Highway 52 corridor. They're gonna drive through Zumbrota anyway, so that they're gonna see Zumbrota. The only bummer part is Highway 63 or 61, whatever they've got us on, they just don't get very much traffic.
Yeah, correct.
So do we need to look for different billboards? Do we like Highway 52? Do we want to do a billboard? Do we want to look at spending our promotional dollars somewhere else? That's the things rolling around in my head.
I do have a possibility for promotion here to talk about as well in a little bit. I could ask Ken about billboards further away, like.
I mean, we don't want to get so far away that they're going to be like, oh, that's way out of our drive, but I don't, like, pulling different areas, not people that just drive right
Yeah.
through on Highway 52. I don't know, it was just a thought.
Did anybody else have one that stuck out at them?
My thought would be Highway 52, just because it carries a ton of traffic, but I'm kind of with Lindsay, how do we know what we're gaining from it?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know where you get the
that's tough.
feedback of, I saw it on the billboard and I pulled in to see the bridge, or I pulled in to grab a coffee at the coffee shop or whatever. I don't
And I think that's true, like a lot of people drive by, but not a lot of people pull in. So, but I don't know what the billboard says to draw them
Pull them
in.
in.
Yep.
So I feel like the last billboard was very
Generic.
generic,
know.
which is fine, but, I don't know.
I
I'm
think-
just not sold on
Yeah, I'm not
on
sold
this
on,
list, I guess, maybe that's my.
I'm not against billboard advertising. I just don't think it's the best use of our dollars to do it again right after we've already had one up. I think it should be maybe like an every other year thing or something like that. But
Especially if you have other ideas for us for that promotional money, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's just, so we have, keep in mind, we have $4,000 left. So if you have an idea of something that pops up, would be good for that. Please share.
We need to do any other, with this 6 feet.
Well, no, what I was gonna do is have Ken send some more, but if it's something we just don't wanna do it this year, just.
That's just it. Do we need a motion or something formal that says that no, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna just move on. We will move on to new business, proposal from WEAU TV Eau Claire.
Yeah, so I had a meeting with Jesse Stock, who's a meeting executive at WEAU of Eau Claire, and he's starting an advertising campaign for smaller cities. Now, if you remember, we had KAAL kind of a similar thing a couple years ago. And so what this is going to be out of western Wisconsin. It will be in the Zumbrota area, but it will promote, say, Zumbrota throughout a part of that we wouldn't think of, like west central Wisconsin. So his campaign will be a 2-month campaign, so roughly about $5,000 total. And what I would like to do is, if this interests you, I'll have him come and speak to us, be more specific on what it is that they do. One of the issues I know with advertising on television is that people don't watch TV. That was one of the issues we have with KAL. And they do their best, and these guys do their best as well, of showing not only do they have television, but all of their social media platforms to get Zumbrota out there. Now, a lot of this information is going to be out of my realm, but he compared Zumbrota to Pine Island and Cannon Falls, and the reviews that came out, you can see Zumbrota's reviews are going to be
There's your billboard right there.
better. Pine Island and Cannon Falls.
Why would you live in a
but
2-star rating?
the number of
Live in a
searches in
5-star.
Zumbrota is well below Pine Island and Cannon Falls. So even though it's got all the stars, there's very few searches compared, and the searches could be from anything in time. Here's the television market. You can see that they are part of the NBC market. You can see KDC's right here. What they'll be in, the households are roughly over 180,000 households. You can see the counties in in Wisconsin, 2 counties primarily within Minnesota, and Houston and Winona County, which is going to be outside of our trade area, which will be good for the city to bring people in to the city. And this gives you an idea of their monthly stats, web page views, Facebook followers, video plays, Twitter followers, Instagram followers, and so on. So the numbers are quite, and I think this is the way news companies are going, obviously, with advertising, because it's just as we said before, a lot of people don't watch TV.
So they have almost 6 million webpage views per month?
Yeah.
Why are people looking up at Eau Claire?
News articles and
And that's,
Weather?
weather.
yeah, God, the weather. If you watch, like you watch KTTC, it's 90% weather, and that's great. But you just pull your phone for, sorry. And then how they get the information out, obviously, it says attract, build brand connection, establish equity with consumers, engage and educate consumers during the buying process, and entice and encourage consumers to take action. That action would be to come to Zumbrota, obviously. You see about 80% video, 20% target display. Once again, I'm not sure what that is. But it would be very, very well advertised around the area, and there's a kind of the breakdown. So what I would say is, if we as an EDA are interested in having this, it doesn't mean we have to go with it. I would have Jesse come virtually or in person and give a spiel about why the city of Zumbrota should do this.
Can you go back up to the one with the communities and the stars?
All the way towards the front.
Yeah, that one. So my question is, would we be better off taking that money and hiring a social media campaign person to get our, to get us out there versus, because if that's what this is showing, is nobody's really searching Zumbrota, but we're not really putting Zumbrota out there. I'm not sure
What is this chart telling me?
the Google searches. And then your Google reviews for the town. So we have really high,
Good reviews.
good reviews, but we just don't have all of
You see the visibility
Right.
says NA, so we're not even ranked when it comes to this because it's such a small
right.
amount of stuff going on with social media within the community.
So maybe that's where we put our money is, like a social media company.
Yeah, and that'd be very interesting to kind of see what's out there.
See what that would cost, yeah.
Right, and
I agree.
kind of, because we have lots of things going on in the city that we could promote, but like, city staff already have full-time jobs like that.
Most of the businesses, I think, are using Facebook in town.
Sure.
What is our market? Who are we trying to reach?
Any and everybody.
That's a good
I mean,
specific.
Consumer,
The
I guess at this point, most of what we have to offer is shopping
The
or
people that come up here.
Tourism.
tour, yeah.
That Connie sees that come up, a lot of them come from Rochester.
Mhm.
And a lot of them are visiting Mayo Clinic, and they need to have something to do for the day. So I'm just wondering if we target that market to get them out of Rochester and bring them up here when they come to spend a month or a week at the clinic. It's huge, because then she tells them to go, all the sites around the area. She gets a lot of that.
Right, but I think that's what, like,
The
if
social
we hired
media
a
would
social
do,
media campaign person,
Yeah.
that they would start
The other
promoting
thing-
all the businesses and, yep.
Yep, and the other thing is there's some key magazines and stuff down in Rochester that sit in the Mayo Clinic that people pick up and they look at, and that's how they find out about us. So the Rochester paper, the women's magazine down there.
I put a ton of them in the gallery of these Zumbrota ones too, so. But you could do a social campaign where an aspect of it is targeting the people
Sure,
who are, like we said, at the clinic.
Yeah.
Looking for something to do.
come visit the
The
program.
other thing is to collaborate with the businesses, because I've always told Connie that if somebody's advertising, like if Louis is advertising in a magazine, it's expensive. But if she advertises in this one and promotes her store plus Zumbrota, and then Wild Ginger advertises in this magazine and somebody else in this one, and spread if everybody collaborated, you'd get a lot of people.
And I think they do that, don't they, with that business alliance? Don't they all kind of
I
figure
don't know
out?
if they do that.
They don't,
What
they
they
don't talk
wanna
about it in the
put,
meeting.
Sometimes they're all in the same magazine.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine too, but it seems to me like we could get more bang for our buck if we,
Yeah, I like that
Figure
social
out a
media
plan.
campaign. I think that would be
but
something.
the social media is the other side of it.
Right, I
Yeah,
think
to
we
really
just have,
look
I mean, we have a pool campaign, we have like lots of events throughout the summer that can be highlighted.
Yeah, let me
But
look
I
at,
think that would,
let me see what I can
we'd have to
find.
hire a,
I'll see if I can get some information back to you too, where some of the advertising goes. I know that Today magazine is huge,
Mhm. Yeah,
the Rochester magazine, I think it's
I thought they already did those.
they do, but I don't know what we're trying to do here. What do you mean? The businesses?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. And so
but I
the
don't know what else there is either.
Rochester downtown has a magazine too, and they have a section, and usually there's like a Zumbrota section in it as well. So, but yeah, that'd be,
Yeah.
I think, honestly,
They'll all be together in one.
that'd be
I
an
like doing
interesting way to
something
do
like
it.
that with social media and this advertising, strategic advertising more than I would
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree.
the TV.
To find a social media company or group that,
I don't know, I need to look, I guess.
Seavers Creative in Red Wing is really good.
See the comics too.
Otherwise, just, there's people that just do it and they just love working that stuff. So I'm sure we can find somebody in town that could do it too.
Or hire a professional group that's gonna come back with the,
yeah, I mean, that's, you,
with the
I
return
guess
on
you would want
investment.
something showing us, yeah, that the money we invested was, where you see it.
It'd be interesting to have somebody like Seavers come in and just give us a presentation.
Yeah, something that you can get some information on
Right, and if there's different price tiers and what you get
for each.
for each one of those.
And tie it back to the website. We've got a website.
Yeah. Yep,
Well, the social media group should be able to give us a lot of good feedback on how many hits they had and on what social media is and all that stuff. So we should be able to
That would be one good way to kind of
quantify
track
it.
who's
Yeah.
looking at it, yeah, that's what you said.
And
That's always been the difficulty with billboards. You just never know.
yeah, how do you know what you're getting? And I don't know, I think we should hit like every avenue, like young families, retirees, everybody. I mean, I have a friend who lives in the cities and she came down and wandered the streets of Zumbrota and just absolutely loved it. She's like, it's just amazing. You guys have such a, thriving downtown. Now, I don't know if she just knew because I lived here and I was like, oh yeah, we got a lot of little shops, or her sister was visiting here and said something, but I mean, even the cities, they'll come down and,
Oh, it's amazing. The
And
people
check it
that
out.
come from all over.
yeah, I mean, we just,
They hear about it and they come to see.
yeah, it was cool.
And usually if they do, they spend money.
Oh yeah, she left with a couple bagfuls of stuff. She didn't just wander around.
didn't leave empty-handed.
No, she had stuff. She stuffed her car.
Okay, well, let's move on to new business B, Eda housing study.
All right, so you can see I sent this in an email as well. So CETA has the city of Zumbrota has a credit with ZETA. Okay, let me just say this again. The city of Zumbrota has a credit with CETA. And one thing they would like to use that credit for is a possibility of a housing study. So your first question may be, why would we ever do a housing study?
When was the last housing study
That was
done?
my first
I-
Because I think it was only a couple of years ago.
Well, there was a hotel study, was a housing study? I haven't found one.
Yep, it came out of Red Wing. It came out of Red Wing.
Before we built the
Well,
first.
Yep,
Red Wing,
Apartment.
Red Wing did their own.
Or was it a county?
in
but I think it's a
Gooding
county,
County.
county
Yep.
did one.
So there's a county housing study going on right now. So Zumbrota will be a part of that.
Yes.
But this will specialize in just the city of Zumbrota. And so what I got from my colleague Annie, and I listed it here for you, because one of my questions is, like I said, why would we do a housing study? So it would identify resources and funding opportunities the city would utilize to apply for grants in the future. While Gooding County has a housing study, it does not address Zumbrota as an individual community. This would identify a market area that includes Pine Island and other townships, and all recommendations are based at a regional scale. A housing study for Zumbrota would make the city more competitive for grants and housing resources. The state of Minnesota has a number of new programs opening this year for grant funding geared towards communities in greater Minnesota. It says, while Zumbrota has had recent housing activity, the housing study would provide detail of the city's life cycle housing needs to ensure that all residents have housing options to suit their needs. In addition, we have seen post-pandemic changes that have reshaped housing needs. So there's different examples there too. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, didn't Keller Bartman have to have a housing study to submit for their workforce grant?
You had aspects of it.
Okay,
Not
so it wasn't a
specific,
full
right.
study.
Like one of the aspects was vacancy rates within the city.
Yep.
But they would have done some.
Some, but
yeah.
wouldn't have had a full study. Okay.
AKA Miranda, who was here, who was the EDA director before? I swear to God, Dylan, didn't he have a housing study done?
Yeah, I couldn't find one.
Feel like he did. No?
Sure.
Well, just, to me, it feels like we had one not too long before that apartment building was built.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah,
They-
Miranda, have you ever remember a housing study? I couldn't find anything on.
Don't. I
Well, you-
remember one being referred to, but I don't actually remember going through the process of getting
Yeah.
one.
And I know we're doing a hotel study right now.
I
And-
feel like it was the county one.
Maybe it was the county one, because that was the one that really told us kind of where we were
So
at
I spoke
and
to
with the apartment.
a lady from Goodhue County about, because like I said, the county's doing a housing study.
Mhm.
And obviously the road will be a part of that.
Remember, wasn't it with the daycare study and everything else?
There's a lot of studies.
Red Wing just got theirs done and I think they're gonna release it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So they did a big one. I don't know,
Yeah, so
it'd be interesting.
this just came to me, it's something.
So we have
What's the
CETA
cost?
credits is what you're
Right,
telling.
so-
What are other,
What else can we get?
what else,
Some
what other options
t-shirts or
are there?
something?
So the total price
It
of
costs
the
us 50.
study would be $13,500. Seated discount of roughly 3, and then they would apply for a Compeer, was one of their partners, feasibility study grant for about $5,000. So the total cost for Zumbrota would be $5,612.44, if that's a possibility.
What are
If
some
it-
other things that we can use the credit for?
Yeah, I don't know, we could find
Ask.
something.
I think that's an important question to ask.
Yes.
Is that discount the credit?
Yeah,
It is.
and if this is a possibility that you like, I could always have Annie come, who is in charge as the planning manager, can come talk to you about it.
Could
But
we,
it's not-
I think we'd like to know what other services that are, at least I'd like to know what other options there are.
Okay.
I don't know that the housing study would be the top of my list.
yeah, and then wait until the county gets done with theirs and see if there's any information to glean out of there that would be specific to Zumbrota before we spend the money for a study.
I love it.
So see what.
What else you got, Kurt? We gotta say yes or something.
Shut down.
It's just getting-
I feel like I'm on a date.
Jeez.
See what county.
Is there have you participated in the coalition for Rochester area housing? That's a good group to get involved with. They have a housing alliance meeting every month. They may have actually done some studies in our area. We could check with them because that coalition is set up to improve the housing situation in a 30 to 35 mile radius of Rochester, which includes Pine Island and Zumbrota. Wanamingo's kind of on the edge, I understand. But there's money behind it from Olmsted County, Rochester, Mayo Clinic, and Rochester Area Fund. I think now the Destination Medical Center. So they have millions of dollars they're investing develop homes. Rhoda could be part of that. We just need to learn what they know about Zumbrota, and what options we can pursue.
And it's Rochester area housing
It's their coalition
coalition for
for Rochester area housing. And their outreach program is called Rochester Housing Alliance. I've been trying to listen in on those meetings as much as I can, but a lot of good information.
Okay.
Okay, if there is no other new business, we'll move on to reports. Update on KV Apartments.
Yeah, it's still pretty much the same. So we're still waiting for Keller Barnes to come up with a site plan that will be reviewed by the city. And then Miles and I will construct a development agreement. We haven't seen a site plan from KB, or not KB, yeah, Keller Bartman. So there hasn't been a lot about them as of lately. So, sorry, I don't have more information. But that's all
What's
I got.
the timing on that grant? They have to use it.
I'm assuming a year, but I'll be wrong.
June meeting.
All right, reminder, June, our next meeting will be June 25th. It's changed from the 18th to 25th. We did that in the March meeting due to Juneteenth. And is the time of the meeting from this?
I have June 11th in my calendar.
I don't know.
I do too.
Because we wanted it June 11th before the council meeting in case there was anything.
Well, it is? I thought it was June 25th on the,
I think you're right.
I have my phone saying
June
11th, yeah, but I don't know why.
yeah,
I
we,
think that's what we talked about.
Did we talk about the 11th?
Randy, you got those minutes handy?
well, we voted for the 25th.
Not
Was it
not,
March?
was it last one or the,
Because that was part of the conversation.
yeah, so it was not last month, but the month before.
It would normally be the 18th, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't move it.
Ooh, I did. It's on the 11th. That's what we voted on, 5:30.
I was gonna say.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be
It's
in
in
my
my
calendar.
phone, so I don't know.
No, we did not.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, how do we all three get?
I looked it up today.
Does Bob have it?
25th.
No, I didn't move it yet.
Oh,
I knew this was coming up, see?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, right here.
What was I reading?
Todd motion, Bob second, June 11th.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, I have the 25th everywhere.
June 11th.
June 11th?
Check, I've got the minutes right
Does
here.
that day work?
All of you guys are liars. How dare you? All right, June 11th. God. All right. So it's June 11th. That's okay then, to have the ED meeting on June 11th?
Yep, Tina, the VP is gonna be running the meeting,
Oh,
so.
that's exciting.
Hey,
Well, for sure that one, but the other one I think was July 16th, and I don't have that one I should be here for. There's no softball that night, so just the one
June
maybe on
11th
this.
will be the EDA meeting. Time, as far as EDA meetings go, it's 5:30, or is there a possibility of going in the morning?
from here on out or that day specifically?
I feel like I'm like going back in time, because we used to be at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I know, and then I got told that I can never move it again.
Why?
But the-
That was such a big paperwork spill to move that.
If it's at 5:30, yeah, that, we can keep doing it at 5:30. I'm just putting it out there as a possibility. If it would go in the morning, that's fine too. Well, I mean in the morning, like 7 o'clock, you'd be done by 7:30, 7:45.
Yeah,
at
I would
least.
say 7's probably hard, because that's at least when
Yeah.
I'm,
And
because that
one way
week
or
I
the
have to
other,
be
I
on
don't
site all week, and so I'm gonna guess I'm either in transit or, like, I either have to be to my desk or not be to my desk.
Yeah.
So is there a,
are we talking specifically about the 11th? Or are we
No, this is
talking
just
in general?
I think on the 11th, we'll still go 5:30. Okay, so we'll still stay at 5:30. I'm just saying for future meetings in general, is there a possibility of going? And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because with CETA, I'm getting, I'll be working with Orinoco and Hayfield. So if I could get one of those meetings in the morning, that would be fantastic. And I've only worked with you guys, so I haven't had a meeting with them yet. But it doesn't have to be. So we'll keep it, how about this? We'll keep it at 5:30.
I was gonna
That's
say,
difficult for me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
Well,
It's just,
No, I
it gets to
understand.
be complicated for me.
Yeah, if it wasn't, if it was 7 o'clock, I could probably do it any morning, but if it gets later than 7, no. And I don't think 7's gonna work, because she's grouchy.
No, I'm a total morning person. I'm just like, that week I have to be on campus all week, and I'm on the road at 7, so if I can call in.
But I mean for an ongoing.
But I'd call in and lead it. I'm driving down the road, might not be great.
That'd be pretty interesting. So let's stay 5:30.
It's dangerous.
It's no problem.
It's dangerous.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, because I don't know until 9 anyway, but
Sure.
it's kids, getting my kids off to school that is the
The
only
rest of the
trick
year.
for me, but if you, I mean, obviously, you guys have to take
It
priority.
gets
If it
to
doesn't
me-
work for
it
your
get-
job,
it-
then
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
good
you
at.
said your other.
I mean, I gotta be ready to go at 8 o'clock and it's an hour. I mean, with all the goofiness in Rochester, it's an hour from my house to walking in and getting logged in and making sure my damn earpiece works. Sorry, I'm being recorded.
Yeah, you are.
No problem. So our next meeting will be June 11th at 5:30.
Only when I
I
say
tell you, that
something,
June 11th,
go
that
and
is,
find it and watch it.
I had that as the 25th. I even looked it up today.
I've told you probably 4 times that it's June 20th.
Yeah, and she's put other words by it. She's not that
I
nice.
said go on the website and change all the stuff I had.
Okay, and then report C is Smith Grant.
Yes, so Sarah Schiefert, who runs Flowers on Main, was awarded the Paint the Town grant. So you will be seeing a mural painted on the back of her store, which is right by Busby's. When you go in the public parking lot, there's the Historical Center and Carnegie. So you'll be able to see it from there. So yeah, it's $1,000 I wrote for her, and she's got artists coming in and gonna put a mural back there. So it'll be pretty cool.
There's no reason anyone should know this, but there's a really pretty colorful mural on the back of Mr. Pizza North that I had never noticed
Yeah.
before.
It's like
It's kind of a cartoon ripoff.
Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of what it is. Yeah, that's right. Oh, is it? It's almost obnoxious.
To avoid the copyright infringement, I'm sure.
Mm.
Okay. Just
I
noticed
like
it.
How do the business owners have to seek that out, or how do you get more murals here on these businesses?
So Smith comes out with that grant probably once a year. And so I just sent the link to Ziba. That's all. And then there was one in 3 years, that's the only person I ever looked at doing it, and they got it.
How much are the grants for roughly?
I think it's roughly $1,000 they pay for all the paint.
The one that they painted on the back on the other side of the town, Tad, Erich,
Yeah, that wasn't,
that was just private.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. I showed up one day, it was like, hey,
yeah, it's really neat.
If there's nothing else,
nope, I haven't.
adjourn.
Fun run,
He's gonna get his buns, he's not gonna be back.
fun run.
I'm so.
Hey, did he sort out his issues with his girlfriend?